Hey YouTubers, this episode of Real Housewives of Lagos opens up with Laura explaining herself to Caroline that she didn't mean what she said, that she was going to slap her on sight, you know. So she had to apologize and she said it was just a slip of the tongue and she didn't mean that. And of course, Caroline says, it didn't seem genuine. The apology. I think Laura's apology was genuinely from her heart. It was heartfelt, it was believable, it was, to me, very genuine, So I don't understand why Caroline said, it's best for her to stay where she is. She stay on her side, I stay on my side because don't believe she meant it. That's pretty much what she was saying. And I don't believe that's true because Laura seems like the kind of individual who speaks from her heart. If she didn't mean what she said, she would not have said it. So this is a continuation of part 3. And since everybody's apologizing and, everybody's kind of putting it on the table, how they feel and what the issue is, why these ladies are at ends with Laura, well, it comes out that Chima's sister, Inka, also, Laura's sister has been putting out this false narrative about her, allegedly. And Chima wants the stories about her sister to be taken down off of the internet. And she's making that request to Laura to let her sister know she wants it taken down. So at first I thought the ladies were picking on Laura, and I thought that she was the underdog in all of this, and that she was the person who is out, and they had meshed and bonded with each other. But now I clearly see that Laura does not give a damn to make friends with anybody. She's kind of, to me, in this episode, I clearly see that she is picking on everybody. She's a lone ranger out here, but she doesn't care. I don't know if she wants to make a name for herself on the show as the badass, as the baddest person on the show, but that's what it appears like. The other ones are playing nice with each other, but she is pulling herself away from the group and wants to be this bad bitch. Okay? And so when Chima requested that Laura's sister take down all the stuff on the internet, the videos, the negative videos about her sister Inka on the Ika on her page, instead of Laura saying, okay, I'm going to talk to my sisters to see if she's going to take them down, see what I can do, because I do want to be friends with you. Instead of that, she says F Ika and F Chuma. Okay, in the confessional, and in front of Chuma's face, she said F her sister. Now, who is going to put up with that? If you are trying to be friends with me and I'm talking to you in a reasonable manner and you're going to say F my sister, a family member, then clearly you don't want to be friends. You want war. And that's what it seems like to me. She's going after these ladies as if she wants each and every one of them to be fighting with her, so she can be the centerpiece in the story. Every story, they would have to call her name. Every story, she would be mentioned, and she would be relevant. Remember, bad news is as good as good news, okay? So in the confessional, Laura said this crazy girl was yelling at me, but clearly Laura did not see the rollback of the tape where she was actually the one who was yelling at Chima. And Chima said, I'm not even angry with this crazy girl, because I would not stoop to that level of yelling at her, me looking so fabulous, and then coming here to yell at somebody and cussing out and all that. That's below me. So Chima started to say, you arrived last. I'm not going to get out my seat to greet you. Maybe that's why you're upset. But that is not, this is deeper than this superficial, um, you know, meet and greet at this little party that they have, they sit down. It's deeper. It has to do with lies that are being told about these ladies and their sisters and or sister, and the fact that Laura does not give a damn. She's not respectful. She's cussing everybody out. When she's with them, she's very aloof. She's to get to herself. She's not engaging. She doesn't want to speak to them. She's on her cell phone in the midst of company, and it's a clear disrespect. So she doesn't know where to draw the line. If she doesn't want to be friends with them, why come on the show? Why? I guess that's part of it. Maybe coming on the show and not being friends with them, she figures she's going to be popular, more popular on her YouTube channel or Instagram channel. And she'll have relevant new information to put out there. Maybe that's her angle. Because I was trying to figure out why come on the show and you can't stand anyone. But maybe that's it. Because she can't stand anyone, she has new material. Whenever she cusses them out, she has new material for her show, her Instagram platform. So I think a little bit might be, believe it or not, I think Laura might be a little jealous and envious of some of these ladies. And maybe it's coming out in this negative way, this very confrontational way, where she wants to fight all of them. And a lot of that has to do with insecurity. When a person is insecure and they want to fight everyone because they don't think they're as good as maybe some of these people, it comes out in this fighting, bombastic manner. And of course, Iyaba is the great actress that she is. She started to break into this dialogue of, this argumentative dialogue with Tiana, trying to break the tension. And of course it worked because the lady stopped. Laura drank, was sipping on water, which calmed her down. The other ladies kind of stopped arguing, including Chimo and Caroline. They stopped arguing. They were just staring at each other at this point. And it did work. It's like if your child is screaming and yelling and you cannot get the child to stop crying and screaming, what do? Some parents just start crying and screaming. It's like a mirror effect. And when the person sees what they look like, they kind of stop and observe the action that you're doing. And that kind of take them away from what they are doing. And that's pretty much what happened here. It was like a reverse psychology that actually worked. So the next scene we see the meditation coach walking in, and she wants the ladies to meditate, and it was so ideal. The moment was ideal because it was a moment when they were in this argumentative mode. So she kind of broke that cycle, and she let them know, okay, let's meditate now. And of course, trying to get out the funk of trying to get out of all the arguing. Of course, they all played along. They made a lot of jokes. They really weren't into meditating because the meditation coach said, you all have to close your eyes. Well, of course, nobody was going to close their eyes at this point. You're not going to close your eyes with so much anger in the room and have somebody jump you, blindsided you, and do a sucker punch when your eyes is closed. So they were all kind of had one eye closed and one eye kind of looking around to see who's making a move. So it was funny. It was a funny moment. So of course, all the ladies are playing along. But guess who said she's not into meditation? No surprise. Laura. She's not into anything. She don't want to go on the vacation. She don't want to go on the retreat. She don't want to go to the beach. She don't want to go to the restaurant. Now she does not do meditation. What did she come on the program for? Why did she come on the show? She's not interactive with anything. And when she does meet up with them, she wants to fight with them. Because she says They don't like her. Maybe she's the one who don't like them. How about that? So they decided to play this game right after the meditation coach left, which was very short. With less than 5 minutes, she was there. And right after that, they wanted to play this game amongst themselves. Truth or lies? Two things that are truthful and one is a lie. So Chima went first. And her truth was that a dog actually saved her entire family from a fire. How traumatic is that? And after Chima went, then Laura said she was going to go. And her truth was that her best friend cheated with her now husband, but at the time, they were not married. So remember, one thing had to be a lie and two things had to be the truth. So when Laura started to talk about her sister and she said she fought with her sister, and everyone had to guess whether or not that was a lie or a truth. And they said, okay, that was true. But the best friend sleeping with her husband before she got married to him was a lie, which was not a lie. The best friend did sleep with her husband before she married him. And she never fought with her sister. And she cannot fight with her sister because she's, as she put it, very loyal to her sister. And so another fight, another argument almost broke out when she said that, because then Caroline said, yes, we know you're very loyal to your sister. Remember, it's the same sister who is spreading all this stuff on the internet about Caroline and Chima's sister. And they want all these videos to be taken down. So Caroline says, yes, we know you're very loyal to your sister. And then everybody stopped in their tracks because they thought Laura was going to come back with some harsh statement, but she didn't. And then that quickly blew over and they started to laugh again. But clearly, there's so much tension in the air between these ladies and Laura, you can cut it with a knife. Laura is the centerpiece of the arguments. And even Chima says she appears to love conflict, arguing. And so Chima said she has to keep her at a distance because she's not about that. She does not like conflict in her life. She does not like all the arguing. But clearly, from what she observed, Laura likes that. So she cannot be part of her existence, part of her life. And it appears as though Laura does want to be friends with her, but she's going about it the wrong way. When you want to be friends with someone, you don't pick fights with them. You don't defend your sister who is apparently spreading all these allegedly lies on the internet about this person's sister. So the ladies kind of encouraged Chima and Laura to hug it out, since Laura wants to be friends and Chima said they're cool, but that's just superficial. They don't like each other. Okay? Even Chima said in the confessional that she's going to keep her at arm's length. So that was all for the camera, but they do not like each other. So Chima is and the girls get away. A little retreat, away from all the craziness. So the card says, let's wine and dine in the land of power and wealth. And I'm trying to think, wine and dine in the land of power and wealth. Morocco. She did not reveal it as yet. She's just writing out the cards to send to the ladies, an invite. And I'll bet you that Laura is not going to go. Because Laura is such a little hater that she might turn this down also. Because everything she turns down. So Yobo said she's going to give them the option of bringing along someone. And however, she has to be selective of who this person is that they're going to be bringing along, because she doesn't want the ratchetness. She didn't say ghetto 5 people, but I know that's what she meant. She don't want a certain class of people coming to her event. So she's going to call them one by one to see who they are bringing. And I bet you when she calls Laura, Laura probably will want to bring her sister to start something at the event. So we are going to see. Of course, she's not going to let Laura's sister come because remember, she said she's going to be very selective with who they want to bring to her event. Chima runs this brass and copper business. And one of her youngest employees, Jeffrey, one day he was going home. Well, one day he was going home and he got hit by a bus and his arm was amputated. And so while after she was done signing the cards, the invite cards for her event, for it to go to all the ladies, there was a special box delivered to her. Her assistant brought it in, and it was a box with an artificial arm. And she said it's going to change someone's life. And of course, it was Jeffrey's life she was about to change by giving him this artificial arm because it's quite expensive. And she called him in, and he's sitting in front of her, not knowing that she has this artificial arm to give to him. And YouTubers, I couldn't help but think while she was, she fitted the arm on him. It was the exact skin color, his skin tone, even down to the nails. It looked just like his nails on the left arm. And so she was a little emotional. She had a little tear. And she hugged him and she said, she's happy for him. And he didn't know what to say really, But I just got the feeling. I mean, it's just me. But I got the feeling she's got a real soft spot in her heart for this Jeffrey. He's an employee of hers. But she might have a little more in mind than just an employee. I could be wrong, but sometimes you have love and affection for someone who's working with you and you don't know how to tell them because they're an employee. This is the feeling I'm getting because he's about her age, or it could be a little younger because she's already in her 30s. He looks like if he's maybe 25, 26, but you can tell she's got a real soft spot in her heart for Jeffrey. So YouTubers tell me, is it love that I'm seeing between them? Or is it just me trying to find Chima a mate? Trying to do what her parents want for her. I'm wishing that Jeffrey would be her mate because I see the love that she has for him. I don't know if it's love in that sense of the word, a man and woman, or is it just an employee-employer type of love and affection? In the next episode, Chima invites the ladies to a nice Japanese restaurant so they can discuss this trip that they're supposed to be going on later on. So the ladies arrive at the Japanese restaurant looking on point, okay? And Chima arrived with Caroline, and they're about to enjoy this scrumptious meal. So this dinner, really organized by Chima, is an attempt to get all the ladies to try to, this time around, be on board with their friendship, to be more loving and kind towards each other. Because the first time when Caroline kept the sit down, the little luncheon, it was a disaster. They all were cussing each other out, pretty much. And this attempt by Chima, hopefully it works. Hopefully they come to Jesus moment and realize that, it's just a show. And it makes no sense for them to be cussing and carrying on like that for the world to see. This dinner at a Japanese restaurant is not the trip that Chima is planning. She's planning a trip for the ladies to get away to this rich and exotic place, and that's where the invitations came in. This dinner at the restaurant is just to announce that she's planning a trip for them. I mean, this is how the rich do it. You know, you can't call the person on the phone and say, hey, girl, let's go on this trip. No, you got to take them to a nice, fancy place to tell them that I'm planning a trip for us. I guess she wanted to see their reaction and if they were down with it, if it's something that they wanted to do. But of course, who wouldn't want a free trip? So, of course, because their schedules are so busy and everyone is on a different timeline, Yobo said she couldn't make the trip. She will be traveling. And so everyone is greatly disappointed because Iyabo is the party girl. Remember the first episode? She said she is the life of the party. She's the party girl. So of course she's going to be missed. And they are going to miss her energy. Well, this sit-down dinner at a Japanese restaurant was a positive outcome. Everyone behaved, they got along. Of course, it would be rude to be bashing each other in public. Even Laura enjoyed herself. And Iyabo announced that she couldn't be there for the upcoming trip because she's going to be busy traveling between London, Paris, Turkey. Remember, she has to show her daughter all these different places that she shopped for the boutique in Lagos, and her daughter is going to be taking over the boutique because the boutique really is her daughter's boutique, and she started it up. It's up and running. Now it's time for her daughter, who is old enough, to take over the running and maintaining of that boutique, but she has to show her where to buy all the fashions, all the fashion outlets. So she's going to be busy doing that. That's more important, honey. You got to make the coins, the Benjamins. So Tiana is in this remote part of Nigeria shooting this movie. And it says she's calling it Tiana 45 because she's turning 45. And Mariam, who is a old-time friend, one of her best friends. She's only got two, she says, her husband and Mariam. And Mariam is there and she says, you know what? She had just received the invitation from Chima. And it says, invitation to a land of power and wealth. And she's wondering, where can this be? But because Mariam is there, she says, you know what? You're going to be my plus one. You're invited. I don't care if they don't like you. You can come. Be my plus one. So now we know Mariam is going to be there. But the thing is, Mariam has such a cutting sense of humor that a lot of the ladies might not like her. So they know where they're going now. They're going to Abuja. And they're excited because it's a place that has money, power, riches, and fun. So they are so excited, including Laura. Laura can't wait to get away. So the trip is here already. They're at the airport. Laura and Tiana are at the airport waiting for the ladies to show up. Tiana said they've been waiting for 4 hours already. And she don't like to keep people waiting, and she expects people not to keep her waiting either. I mean, it's only fair. If you are punctual, at least show the other person that respect. I can understand if there's traffic, leave early. If you know the streets are going to be busy, the road is going to be busy on the day of your travel, leave early. But for 4 hours, having someone sit at the airport for 4 hours straight, I can imagine they were annoyed at this point. Tiana as well as Laura. So when Chima and Caroline arrived at the airport, Miriam said, you kept us waiting. And Miriam was so annoyed. And at that point, Caroline was very incensed. She was, you're not my mother. Why are you talking like this to me? But the thing is, she has to understand that people's time is precious. Especially if you're a businesswoman, business person, they could have been doing other things. Their lives are busy. Instead of sitting there for 4 hours, if you're going to be late, at least make an effort to, if you're going to be late an hour, I can understand, but for 4 or 5 hours, come on, that is too long. So, of course, there's no schedule for the plane to take off because remember, this is charter, this is private. These women have the money. Chima has the money to pay for a charter flight, so it didn't matter if they were late 6 hours, 7 hours. The plane was not going anywhere. The jet was not going anywhere. It was going to stay on that runway and wait for everyone to arrive. But still, you don't have people waiting 4, 5, 6 hours. And Caroline, when she got there, she said she was sick. Well, honey, if you were sick, you should have called and said, I cancel, I'm not going anymore. But don't keep the ladies waiting for 4 or 5 hours. That is not, it is very uncouth. So in this episode, the ladies are up in the plane and they are just praying for a safe flight. Chima said, as much as she loves flying, her heart is always in her hand whenever she's flying. And Laura said she prays to God, God, forgive me for all my sins. I guess it's a long list of sins, but I understand exactly how they feel. When I fly, I'm always petrified. I'm always, like my stomach feels as though they're butterflies, like if it's cramping, and I hold on for dear life. Like if there's going to be a car crash and you do that, hold on and brace yourself. I hate flying. So I know exactly how they feel. And although Abuja is in Nigeria, the area that they're in, they have to actually fly to get to Abuja, the capital, because it's ways away. It requires a couple of hours driving or a quick plane hop to get there. And remember, it's a small plane. It's not these big jumbo jets. It's a small plane and anything can happen. That's why they're so nervous. Remember, Kobe Bryant and his daughter died on one of those small planes. So it's always a concern. It doesn't matter how much money you have or your celebrity status. Accidents do not care who you are, okay? So Laura brought along her +1 friend, Celine. I was expecting her to bring her sister. That would have been an interesting episode, I think. She should have brought her sister, but anyway, all the ladies are checking out their rooms. Their rooms look fabulous. There's no one room that is less deserving of a queen. All the rooms are fit for a queen. Fabulous view, fabulous rooms, just top of the notch. Top of the notch. So they're going to be getting ready for the night out. That's why they're there. And Laura already told her friend Celine, look, some of these ladies and me are not the best of friends. So part of your job is to protect me from myself, because these hands can throw blows, okay? So if a fight breaks out, if verbally that is, just protect me and hold me back from beating someone's ass, okay? Protect me by holding me back from whippings that I may do to someone else. So, she laughed it out. She meant it as a joke, but I know she's serious. If push comes to shove and she have to beat somebody, she will, okay? So Tiana's +1 was her daughter, which was fitting because her daughter just came home, remember? She was schooled in America, she was schooled in England, and she was away. So she missed a lot of, Tiana and all the things that she's doing home in Lagos. So she just came back home visiting her mom, and then her mom is taking this trip. So Tiana wanted some bonding time with her daughter. She didn't want her to be left home by herself. So she brought her along on this trip, which I thought was great. Besides her daughter, Tiana also brought along Miriam, but the invitation said +1. It didn't say +2, so I don't know how Chima is going to feel about that. Because when someone says +1, remember everything is catered, in terms of money wise, how much he has to put out to pay for meals, etc. So we're going to see if that goes over well with Chima. Anywho, Tiana has two people that she invited, her daughter as well as Miriam. But it might not be a problem. I'm thinking of it as a problem, but when you examine it, it's not a problem because Miriam is supposed to be a cast member. She was not there for the past couple of episodes, and this is her introductory. So I think by Tiana inviting her along, then she's introducing the newest cast member. I think that's the angle. So, of course, with Tiana's daughter there, she's going to try to find out if she's dating and who the boy is. Of course, her daughter is denying, And so between Miriam and Tiana, they're kind of trying to get a feel out for if this girl is dating anybody, because, Nigerian mothers, well, African mothers, and actually mothers, period, want to know who their daughters are dating, especially when they reach that age, high school age, college age. They know they're looking at somebody or somebody's looking at them, and they want to find out who it is. Of course, the girls try to hide their relationships, but the mothers always know when they are dating somebody. It's just part of being a mother. You get that sense that your daughter probably is dating somebody. So Chima +1 is Hannah. Hannah is one of her friends, she said, very close friends, and she is definitely excited about meeting the other ladies and enjoying her experience on this trip. So we get to see a part of these women, who their circle of friends are, and meet the friends. So this trip is kind of important. It gives us a little insight on, the how these women choose their friends and their friendship, if they're, worthy to be called a friend or not. So we're going to get to see a little bit about when these women are introduced and when they're talking to each other. We're going to get some insight of who they are. So Chima decides to have a slumber party. And I think it's a little disappointing to the ladies the first night because they're expecting this rich, lavish outing that they were looking forward to. And to have a slumber party, they could have done that in their own homes, in their own apartment. Okay? They didn't come all the way for a slumber party to Abuja. So it's like crickets in the room. Although the food is fantastic, all the desserts, etc., the courses of meals, it's still a slumber party. So I think this is the first night. Hopefully, they're going to have a second night where they can get dressed up for the evening, go out dancing, etc. This first night, is a bust. It's a wash. Okay? And you can tell. It shows on all the ladies' faces. They're like, just, what the hell? When you kind of stare and you can't believe this is where they took a plane to come and to eat in a room. They were expecting the first night to go out partying, dancing, and every night actually partying and dancing and seeing, all the niceties of Abuja. But to stay in a room with pajamas on, eating and looking at each other, no, that does not spell nice, rich place, okay? So we're going to be looking forward to the second night. And I think the second night we see where it's going to be more to their liking, where they get dressed up, go out, and have a fabulous time. YouTubers, like, share, and subscribe to my channel and to this video. I'm over and out. We are going to be looking forward to the next episode of Real Housewives of Lagos. Why? Because it's messy.